right. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the stream. Bitcoin is currently getting a breakout, pushing above resistance, getting new highs here. Trading currently at 7,850. We're going to see if this breakout actually continues. If you guys are watching this as a playback, you can check the description. There's going to be some time codes so you can more easily navigate your way through the stream. But we're going to get started here in just a second, and we're going to watch this pump take place. So let's just let the intro roll, and we'll get started soon. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. So this actually may be turning out to be a fake out, and we're looking to actually sell off. Just my luck, to be honest. I go live right as we break resistance, and now we're pulling back. We'll see, though. We'll see how this actually plays out. Getting some volatility here. Let's see if the bulls can maintain it or not. This is looking really interesting right now. But anyway, overall, Bitcoin is still looking extremely bullish, regardless of this possible fake out right now. Maybe I should change the title of the stream to Breakout or Fake Out. Just my luck. But anyway, guys, so Bitcoin is actually trading at a really interesting place right now. We're coming up on the 21-week EMA. Actually, let me get rid of the stock to flow model for a second here. But on the weekly chart, we have the 200-week moving average, which was our support in the bear market, and we actually only had a wick below it here. If you're looking at the weekly chart, we had 2 wicks below it, 2 weekly candles, and we're just trading in between the 200-week moving average and the 21-week EMA. We had this weekly candle close above it, just barely, and now we're trading above the 21-week EMA, which is pretty interesting. This is pretty big. If Bitcoin can actually get this push, then this would be good. But right now we are seeing a bit of a rejection here, but it's not too bad just yet. We'll see. We'll see if the bulls can maintain this right here and see if we can get this pump to continue, but we'll see. Right now it's looking like a bit of a fake out, but that can change. So we broke resistance and now we're coming back below it. We'll see though. We'll see. The bulls still have a chance to actually continue this. But right now, yeah, the weekly chart is the most interesting to me because we are above the 21-week EMA. And if we can continue above this, historically, the 21-week EMA is an extremely pivotal moving average generally. If you guys remember the last bull market, once we got above that 21-week EMA back in 2015, we actually never fell back below it until the bear market, right? And then once we had that break below the 21-week EMA here, we entered a bear market. The next time we actually crossed above it and held above it was here before the next, at least, bull phase going up to 14K. And then now, we're coming up to it now. Also, if you're looking, at the end of this run, the 21-week EMA, once we broke below it there, we entered a more bearish phase. And now we're coming up to it again, right? We're coming up to the 21-week EMA once again. So overall, guys, this is a really pivotal moving average historically in most market cycles. So this is a pretty interesting spot to be in. If we can get above it, we're going to see a lot of bullish action. A lot of the altcoins are also going to be seeing major moves if we can get above the 21-week EMA. So this is going to be a really interesting spot to watch. Now, again, this is, is it a fake out? Is it a breakout? Well, we had a breakout, and now we've come back down. We're sitting at support, or we're sitting at resistance. There wasn't too much selling just yet. This breakout could continue still, but we'll see. Looking at the 30-minute chart right now. What's up, guys? I see a lot of familiar faces in the chat. Let me know if everything's good, if the audio is good. Definitely hit the like button as we're waiting to see if this breakout does continue or not. Getting a big wick up, big wick down. I'll just go through chat real quick before we get started. Guys, I think we need more likes on this stream for this pump to actually continue. What's up, guys? I see all my familiar faces are in the chat. Welcome back to the stream, guys. Dominic says, I'm nervous. Yeah, this major wick here is making me nervous as well. It looked like we were getting the breakout, and now it's looking like possible fake out, but we'll see. So right now, overall markets are looking pretty green. Bitcoin up 1%, Ethereum up 2.42%. XRP actually leading this breakout up over 10%. XRP has seen some pretty nice moves today, leading this breakout. And most other cryptos are following Bitcoin to the upside. Also, Litecoin seeing some good moves today, up almost 5%, 4.75%. So XRP initially broke out, Litecoin kind of followed after that, and then Bitcoin also followed. But we're going to see. I really hope this breakout actually happens. This has been such an annoying range to watch because we're just hugging resistance, seeing higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. And then we get a breakout, I go live, and then it just comes right back to resistance. But we'll see, guys. We'll see. This is not over just yet. If the bulls step in, this could continue. If we break below this short-term upward sloping support line, then maybe this pump was a fake out. You know, if we do come back to this area and dump, then yeah, then we could probably call it a fake out. But as of right now, anything's possible. But yeah, XRP right now is one of the leading gainers of the day. This is XRP on the weekly. You know, I'm not a huge fan of XRP, but I got to give credit where it's due. XRP has seen some really nice gains today, at least. You know, bouncing back with Bitcoin over the past month. If you're looking at the volume for XRP on the weekly chart, a lot of accumulation at those low levels, huge levels of volume, a lot of interest. So that's interesting, right? We're seeing higher levels of volume here than we did during the bull market for XRP. So that's a pretty interesting thing to see. A lot of interest at those low levels for XRP. You know, overall, XRP has been in a descending triangle for the past 2 years. And this is something that I've warned my viewers about. I've warned, you know, all the XRP influencers. I've told them, you know, hey, XRP is in a descending triangle, classic bearish pattern. It's been in a descending triangle for the past 2 years, lower highs, horizontal lows. We actually got the breakdown out of this descending triangle. And we, you know, of course, had another crash with Bitcoin. But right now, the volume is massive. Huge buys at those low points. So that's pretty good support. I got to say, that's pretty good support for XRP. I wouldn't be surprised to see a recovery for XRP. Of course, it's all dependent on Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now just sitting at that potential breakout point. We had the breakout, and then we wicked straight back down. So we're going to see if this is a breakout or a fake out. Guys, click 1 in the chat if you think it's a breakout or we're going to have a breakout, and click 2 if you think we're going to have a fake out. I want to know what you guys think in the chat. 1 if you think we're going to have a breakout, 2 if you think we're going to have a fake out. Anything is possible at this point where we're at right now. I mean, the market, we've just been riding this resistance since April 23rd. You know, we created this resistance point right here, 7,775. Traded sideways. We're now coming back up to it. And, you know, just created higher lows all along this resistance, all the way up until where we are now. We get a breakout, and immediately we reject back down below resistance, which is, you know, slightly disappointing, but we'll see. Let's look at Chainlink real quick. Chainlink has been seeing a pretty nice recovery as well. So Chainlink has been overperforming in a lot of ways. You know, we dumped with Bitcoin. We actually had like a wick down to like $0 basically on Binance. But, you know, of course, we just came back. Actually, you know, if you discount that wick, it was kind of like a higher low. You know, continuing this trajectory right here of slightly higher lows. But we've almost fully recovered for Chainlink, right? We came right back up to just below $4. So the demand for Chainlink, guys, the demand for Chainlink is massive, right? We had enough demand for Chainlink that we actually recovered back up, almost back to these highs, at least the support area of this range right here, just below $4. So again, guys, the demand for Chainlink is huge, huge. There's just a lot of buy interest. I mean, we have large institutions that are looking towards Chainlink right now. Swift, they handle $5 trillion per day, and they're looking at Chainlink for their money settlement API systems and all kinds of things. And, you know, Chainlink can be used for things that aren't even blockchain related. So there's a lot of potential there for Chainlink. There's a lot of demand for Chainlink. So we're going to see, guys, fake out or breakout or fake out. But most people in the chat, seems like most people, actually it's split. To me, it looks split between fake out, breakout. But of course, the chat is going to go with whatever it looks like in the moment. Right now, the fact that we haven't seen a complete drop, like, you know, we hit this upward sloping trend line on this test back down after that fake breakout, the fake out. We haven't actually, you know, if it was a real fake out, you probably would have seen, you know, a really nice dump off that to the downside, but we haven't actually gotten that yet. So there's still potential for the bulls to push back up and actually have a breakout. But yeah, Chainlink is by far one of my favorite cryptos, and it's just been performing so well. The demand is so high that we just, every time we dump, we just recover straight back up. And, you know, Bitcoin is going to have to see some pretty bullish moves, most likely, for Chainlink to have a breakout of the all-time high. Most likely, you know, Bitcoin will probably have to be trading in the mid 80, probably closer to 9,000 probably for Chainlink to actually have a break of the all-time high. We do find a lot of resistance at those higher prices for Chainlink, but it's been overperforming. There's a lot of demand, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, top performer today is XRP. We've seen a really nice breakout there, so that's good. I'm not a huge fan of XRP, but XRP did kind of lead this move today. You know, the altcoin market cap had a huge increase today, obviously because XRP is, is the top third crypto in the market, and it had a breakout today. Altcoin market cap increasing, also seeing some nice action today, and it led Bitcoin to potentially this breakout, but it was so far not confirmed. Also, the stock market had a really nice bounce back. If you guys have been watching my content, we've been talking about the stock market and, you know, the likelihood of a bounce back for the stock market. And we did get that bounce back. Like, I have that tweet on my... Oh, I can't load Twitter for some reason. This is one tweet that I have featured in some videos, but I said, if you didn't sell Bitcoin to higher, this is on March 16th. This is on March 16th. And let's see where the S&P was on March 16th. We were sitting about right here, just below 2,400. And I was saying on my videos and on Twitter, if you didn't sell Bitcoin at higher prices, selling now is a really stupid move, in my opinion. The stock market doesn't have much more room to move down, another 10% at the most, and then we hit major support. I'm not selling, only looking for buys at this point. And that is pretty much exactly what happened, right? We got that drop down to the low, a little over 8%, and then we hit major support. We did get this bounce back, but of course, guys, I think we're going to see a lot of volatility in the stock market. I think we'll probably end up seeing some sort of, maybe we continue up to towards 3,000. Or today's rejection was the rejection that we're looking for. But I think ultimately, at some point, we are going to be seeing the prices come back to retest lower. We're going to see a lot of volatility. Who knows what it's actually going to look like, but I think we're going to create a formation in this range most likely for the stock market. I highly doubt we're just going to, with all the economic shutdown and the global pandemic, it doesn't make sense that we would just see a recovery from here. That wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. So I would expect some volatility. So the question then is, what is Bitcoin going to do if there is that bearish sentiment in the global markets? What does Bitcoin do when we have a sell-off in the global markets, when things turn a little bit more bearish again, and there's a little bit more uncertainty again? What happens then? Well, it's tough to say now because of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's moving into the halving, and we have this bullish speculative demand where there's a lot of buy interest for Bitcoin, not that much sell interest for Bitcoin, because we're moving into the halving, which is historically a very bullish event. So if the stock market does see some downside, what does that mean for Bitcoin? It's actually hard to tell. I think some days we will probably be selling off with the stock market. I think some days Bitcoin will be selling off with the stock market, and other days it will be able to hold certain price levels as the stock market is dropping. And that's kind of what we saw in this range. If you go back to that March 16th level that I was talking about, or like March 16th, really like March 12th, March 16th, March 18th, we see lower lows in the S&P. And if you look at Bitcoin, I guess we can go to this area here. Going from March 12th. Okay, so again, let's look at the S&P. So March 12th, we see this low. March 16th, we see a lower low. March 18th, we see an even lower low. And March 23rd, we see an even lower low. And if you look at Bitcoin, March 12th, we have this low. March 16th, we see a higher low. March 18th, we see an even higher low, right? So Bitcoin is making higher lows here as the stock market is making lower lows, right? The days where the stock market sees lows, Bitcoin actually sees higher lows. But that's only for this particular range. But the reason that took place was because there was enough demand in the stock market for Bitcoin to trade against the stock market. So my point here is it possible that Bitcoin could trade against the stock market if we do see downside in the stock market due to the increased demand for the halving? Is that possible? There's actually a chance for that, in my opinion. There's a chance that Bitcoin may actually go up when the stock market is going down because of the halving and the bullish demand for the halving. So I'm not all too worried about a stock market correction, but I'm just keeping it on my radar for sure. Definitely keeping it on my radar, because if we do see the S&P curl over in the near future, if we do see the S&P see some rejection here, right, and we see some downside, and we see Bitcoin also curling over, then we have to take into consideration that, okay, maybe Bitcoin's being affected by this. But the question is, how strong is the effect? How strong is the effect of the stock market going to be on Bitcoin as we're moving into the halving, as the demand is increasing, as we have more bullish speculative demand for Bitcoin? That's the question. And it's hard to tell, but I do think we're going to have more bullish speculation. Guys, I was just looking at Chainlink. Everyone's saying link, link, link. I was just looking at Chainlink on the weekly. We were talking about how the demand for Chainlink is so high that no matter what we do, we just return back to the highs, right? We're always just getting bought back up. We have a lot of institutional demand, actual financial institutions looking to get involved with Chainlink, right? Like Swift, Swift handles $5 trillion per day, and they are interested in using decentralized Oracle systems for their money settlement API transfer systems. So there's just a lot of actual real money interest for Chainlink. Really nice recovery for Chainlink. Of course, if Bitcoin sells off here, if we don't get the breakout, Chainlink is also going to sell off. If Bitcoin can get the breakout, I bet you Chainlink is going to be trading above $4, looking to retest the all-time highs here again. Most likely, we're going to see some probably a push up to this mid-range where we have previous resistance, previous support, which is around like $4.20. We have previous support, previous resistance in this range. So I would say if we do break out, at least $4.20. If not, we'll probably see a pullback. People are saying, should I sell my cryptos? Should I sell other cryptocurrencies so I can buy Chainlink? Well, I mean, guys, it's, I would diversify. I would, make sure you have multiple coins in your portfolio. Definitely diversify, guys. So we are getting the continued push right now. It wasn't necessarily a fake out yet because we're still holding that level and we're still pushing, potentially looking for a breakout now. So $8.10 was that previous breakout level, or that previous high. So right now we're looking for, sorry, I said $8.10. I mean $7,810 was that previous high. So if we can break above $7,810, then we might have a continued breakout. People are looking for my Discord channel. I think it's in the description, but I'll post it in the chat. Guys, definitely join the Discord. We have a growing community there. It's fun. A lot of interesting discussions. Hop in the Discord channel. Tyrell coming in with the 3. Thank you, my man. I appreciate it. What is that emoji with the fist bump? Yeah. Hell yeah, man. I appreciate that, Dono. Also, we have Crypto Crazy Callie in the chat. Edward Park in the chat. What's up, guys? We have some viewers in here that have been watching me for years. Just going through chat real quick, waiting to see. We need to get back above $7,810. $7,810 is that level we need to get above to get, an actual breakout. Atozy is in the chat. He says Digibyte going crazy as usual. I haven't really looked at Digibyte recently. Actually, I've been hearing everyone talk about it, but I haven't even looked at it recently. Which exchange should I be looking at for Digibyte? I really don't keep track of it that much, but there is a big following for Digibyte. Digibyte holders are it's like a cult following. It's pretty amazing. Oh, not Bittrex. Let's not do that. Well, whatever. Oh, wow. That's some crazy gains you got there. Wow. Excluding these wicks from March 17th, you're up like 330%, 320%. That's crazy. Wow. I haven't really analyzed Digibyte in like a long time, but that is pretty amazing actually. You found resistance at your all-time high on Bittrex. If you're looking at Bittrex, you touched the all-time high level. That's crazy actually. Have they had new developments or something? What happened there? So Bitcoin right now coming back up to 7,800, coming back above 7,800. We're going to see if we can get that move above 7,810, which we're kind of seeing right now. If we can sustain these prices, then it is a breakout. But we're back here at this area. Let me go to the lower time frames. Let's just go to the 5-minute chart real quick to show you what happened. We had this pump to 7,876. I go live. Just my luck, and it just rejects straight back down below resistance. But we are getting a continued bounce here, so we'll see. But incredible action. So it would be nice to see this breakout. Rich M says, look at ICX. I'll take a look in a second. Hold on. Appreciate that. So the next area is going to be like the $8,250 level probably if we continue this breakout. That's what I talked about in my last video. 8,250 next target potentially. And that is this previous, we actually have some historic action taking place here. So here's the thing. A lot of people are talking about the 200-day moving average, which is this green line here. The 200-day moving average is the target that some people are looking at. But in my opinion, if we actually do get a breakout here, I think we're going to have enough momentum to push past this point probably. And we're going to be looking at this previous resistance, this previous support. So let me just like draw it on there. This previous resistance right here, this previous support right here, up to about 8,500, this area right here. I would say we're most likely going to be looking to target this range if we do get a real breakout here. But of course, the first target is going to be 8K, the 200-day moving average. But I think ultimately we would be headed for, a little bit over 8,200, closer to 8,250. This previous resistance, this previous support, and upwards of 8,500. But we'll see. I haven't really looked at ICX recently. I was looking at it during the pump. Well, you kind of, you had that long-term bearish downtrend. You find a low just about 10 cents, you rally up, and then you have the coronavirus pandemic, and then you wick down to 12. So you create a higher low, so it's good. There was enough demand in the market that we created a higher low for ICX. Again, I don't really analyze ICX very much, but just going off of first sight here, I mean, you have enough demand for a higher low, which is good. Some cryptos actually saw lower lows during that dump, so not too bad. Seeing a recovery. Right now, you're basically just fighting previous support. That's really all it is. I mean, that's pretty much all you really need to look at right now is previous support, which is going to be at right where you are now, where we found support at just below. We found support just below 29 cents. So I would say these levels, 28 cents, 0.2850. That previous support for ICX before the coronavirus pandemic, this area right here. This is the area that you're fighting right now. And, for me, I use a lot of horizontal support, horizontal resistance. So here's the thing that you're looking at for ICX is you have this support from February, March, which is the exact level that we're at now. You dump below it, find a resistance just below that level at this wick right here. You come back up, you test above it, right? You test above it, and now you're coming back to it as potential new support, right? So you're testing above that previous support resistance, you have the breakout, and you're coming back now to test it as potential new support. If you get the bounce off this level, that would be very bullish signal, and then you'd be looking to test higher at that point. If you can bounce off this level, you're looking to test higher, and just based off support and resistance, the next upside target would be closer to 35 cents, probably. But ICX having a pretty decent recovery actually. If you create support along this level right here that we're at right now, that's very bullish. You guys definitely hit that thumbs up. Tim J in the chat. What's up? Crypto. What's up, Crypto? The whole world is shut down because of the virus, and we cannot mention. Oh yeah, I can't say the name of the virus. Did I say it? I might have. Whoops. Crypto is in the chat. I really hope I didn't say. I think I did say it, didn't I? Oh man, I hope I don't get demonetized for that. So Bitcoin right now showing us a bit of resistance at that A little bit of chop here. We had the breakout. We come back down, test that upward sloping support line, that short-term upward sloping support right here. And now we're pushing back up. So it's $8, and I keep saying this, $7,810 is the level that we need to be getting above for us to really have a breakout here. But we'll see how it actually plays out. We're going to see if we have enough demand right now to actually get a real breakout. So, Tyrell is looking for Ethereum. So that's the interesting thing about Ethereum versus Bitcoin is Ethereum is actually already above the 21-week EMA. And again, like this is, so, you know, just looking at Bitcoin again, actually I was looking at it here. I already have it marked up. For Bitcoin at least, every time we cross that 21-week EMA, we have major bullish moves or bearish moves, depending on what direction we're moving, right? Coming out of the bear market, at the 2015 low, once we cross it, we have a major bull market. And then once we cross it again here, we enter the bear market. Once we cross it the next time, we enter a bullish phase. Once we cross it the next time, we enter a bearish phase. Once we cross it again, well, we haven't crossed it yet, but we're actually above it right now. So if we can confirm this breakout for Bitcoin right here, right now, if this breakout gets confirmed, that's going to be confirming us breaking above the 21-week EMA, which is huge. Historically for Bitcoin, this could mean that we're going to have a very bullish halving. And also what that means for Ethereum is it's just generally very bullish because altcoins perform better when Bitcoin is above the 21-week EMA. That's something I've noticed is when Bitcoin's trading above the 21-week EMA, altcoins see a lot of action, right? So this could mean that Ethereum will be looking to test back up to some of the highs if we can get a confirmed breakout and Bitcoin continues up to, 8250, 8500. So the 618 has a little bit of confluence with some previous market structure, but we'll see. That's around like $213. But again, it's all up to Bitcoin right now. If this breakout really takes place, then it's going to be very bullish for Ethereum. It's going to be very bullish for altcoins. I mean, XRP is going to be very bullish for XRP, especially at this point because XRP led this breakout, actually. XRP got the breakout before anything else today. So, and that's another thing is, I'm not a huge fan of XRP, but I got to say, that volume is impressive. Of course, the prices are cheap, but there's a lot of accumulation there. And they did get the breakout today. So XRP Army is probably very happy. Another thing about XRP, again, XRP is the third top crypto, and that brings up the altcoin market cap. XRP does play a significant role, even though its performance has been really, really bad. It still plays a significant role in this market, so you have to look at it. But we broke above this previous support here, so that's also good. And now XRP is looking to test the 21-week EMA. And that's where Bitcoin is right now as well. So Bitcoin is also at the 21-week EMA, and XRP is there. Ethereum is above it, so that's good. And Litecoin also had some nice moves up at $46. Bitcoin Cash seeing a breakout possibly. I'm just looking, guys. I'm just hanging out, looking at everything pretty much. Actually, no, that was misleading. Why did it look like that? It looked like it was, but I guess it's not. Just looking at chat, Jeff Rigby says this might be controversial, but what is your opinion on Hex? To be honest, guys, when Richard first started talking about Hex, I didn't think it was a scam. A lot of people thought it was a scam because he was going to make money on it. But that's normal in crypto, guys, right? Like, when you have ICOs, when you have initial coin offerings, people make money, right? People make money. People that released, like EOS, made like billions of dollars on their release, right? EOS made billions. And people were mad because Richard Hart was making money. But that's not a big deal, right? It's only a big deal because he's like on camera and you can like see him live and you're like, oh, screw you, you're taking, you know, whatever. But it's not, Hex is not a scam. Like if Richard Hart dies tomorrow, Hex still operates normally and it goes on, right? The way that it's structured, it's, no, he could exit scam and just dump everything at some point. I'm not saying that's not possible, but it's not a scam, in my opinion. There are some arguments to be made about the, what's it called? I forget the name of it. That wallet, that like central wallet that he has. Which yes, you could be worrying about that. How there's like some big wallet in the Hex network that's like generating a bunch of tokens. I'm not an expert on it, but I never thought it was a scam. I actually defended him on Twitter at one point, even though I'm not invested in Hex at all. I have no Hex whatsoever, but I never thought it was actually a scam. What is Bitcoin doing? Are we breaking out yet? Not yet. Still fighting this range. Just drop down to the lower time frames. We're just kind of just chopping around the resistance right now. The market is determining whether it really wants the breakout. Of course, we had this breakout, and of course, some of the whales out there will take advantage of that liquidity that comes in. Right, when you see a breakout, people will like FOMO into the market, and then they dump into all those market participants, so they take advantage of that, but we'll see. We're not actually selling off, so we just need to get above $7,810, and then we'll have a breakout. Polynesian USA coming with a 2. I appreciate that dono, my man. Appreciated. But it's important to note that, yeah, let me pull this up. Oh, also, guys, CryptoWatch just added the stock to flow model, which is pretty interesting. Actually, let me go to Bitstamp. So again, I just made the point about the 21-week EMA, how the 21-week EMA is that extremely pivotal moving average cross that we generally get during major bull phases or major bear phases. And if we get above it, that's an extremely bullish sign. I'm just looking at the chart right now because I'm just like thinking like in bear markets you've seen the 21-week EMA act as resistance. And then it acts as support in the bull phase. And then in between, we get some resistance off it here, but in between recently, it hasn't really acted as a support or resistance. But it is a pivotal moving average in terms of indicating bull phases and bear phases. So if we get above it, that's very, very bullish. Right now, Bitcoin testing that price level, 7,810. We're just sitting at it now. What was I going to do? Oh yeah, stock to flow. Let me get rid of this. No, I'm not super familiar with stock to flow, but it's pretty straightforward. And what I think is really interesting is how accurate this model is. The stock to flow suggests that we're going to be trading sideways for, up until the next halving, and that's exactly what we've done. So guys, keep this in mind for the future, because if you guys watch this channel, you watch my content, and you are familiar with my work on this channel, the things that we've been, the major calls that I've made is like Bitcoin in this area, and I was calling for 2,500, which we were close, off by $600 on a very, very long-term prediction. The next one, we were sitting here breaking the parabolic trend, right? We're breaking below this parabolic trend. And then I was calling for 7,200, which was almost great. And then we had the fake out pump, right? The China pump and dump. And throughout both of these calls, right, I got so much hate because people hate, now I'm very bullish, but for most of their existence on my channel, I was very bearish, and everyone was always calling for higher prices. Like every rally, like, oh, we're going higher. Oh, Bitcoin's going to go higher. Oh, we're going to go higher. And the next one, oh, we're going to go higher. Oh, we're going to go higher, right? They just call for higher prices every time. But now we have something to look at. Now we can look at the stock to flow model, and we can take a look at what it actually is suggesting the price is going to do, and it'll give us a better idea of how long we're going to be trading in a certain direction, rather than just always expecting the price to go up no matter what, right? Now we're actually going to have a way to determine how long are we going to be trading sideways, when's the next likely time for the next major bull market to begin, right? So we can actually do that properly, rather than just calling for upside every single month, right? Although I was wrong recently too, because we were just going based off of previous halving data, where you get historically for Bitcoin in the halving, you get 2 parabolic advances, and then you break above the all-time high, right? The next halving cycle, 1 parabolic advance, 2 parabolic advances, and then you break the all-time high, right? It's the same in both past cycles. And for Bitcoin, what I was expecting was 1 parabolic advance, 2 parabolic advances, and then we break the all-time high, right? So I was expecting this next, I was looking for this to be that second parabolic advance before actually breaking the all-time high. And of course, coronavirus ruined everything. Coronavirus ruined everything for everyone. But yeah. I mean, we've had a great recovery though. Everything's been great since. So we have that bullish speculative demand going to the halving now, so that's good. I think we have all-time high searches for halving on Google, because of course Bitcoin is very well adopted now and is very well established, and more people didn't really know about Bitcoin. People might have heard of it here, whatever. Most people didn't, but everyone heard about it here, right? So that's another thing. That's another lesson I like to teach people is why does this happen? Why do we have these huge bull markets? Like, what is really happening during this bull market? Why are we having these phases and the market's moving up? And there's something called emotional feedback, which is a pretty important thing to understand. It's just a good way to explain why the market behaves in the way that it does. So I guess I can just write it here. Emotional feedback. This is a pretty important lesson that I like to talk about. So what is emotional feedback? Basically, like, if you have this area right here where we come out of a bear market, you have strong accumulation, you find a base of support, and then you rally, and you have that first initial rally, right? So now everyone that bought here is like, okay, maybe it's over. Like, maybe the bear market's over. We all just bought here. We're sitting on gains, right? There's a little bit of money being made now off this low. Everyone that bought here is still depressed because they're down. Now, people are accumulating, a little bit more bullish now, a little bit more increased sentiment, and then Bitcoin rallies again. Now we have these people that bought that are sitting on all these profits, and we have these people that bought that are also sitting on profits. So now these groups of people, these investors, these traders, whatever, they're talking about Bitcoin. They're telling people about it. There's a little bit more buzz. Hey, wait, Bitcoin's getting bullish again. I'm actually making money again. Look, Bitcoin's not a scam. Bitcoin's not going to zero. Look, people are screaming bull market incoming, right? So we have a little bit more buzz, right? And then so you have these two advances. Everyone's making money, and then you break the all-time high, right? Eventually. Right? Bitcoin's coming up. Everyone's excited. Everyone that bought here is now making money. And then you break the all-time high level. So now everyone that bought anywhere is now in the profit zone. Boom. Huge. Huge news. Everyone's like, holy crap, Bitcoin is bullish. Then people that are Bitcoin experts get called onto the news. So now you have emotional feedback where there's that excitement and people are hearing about it. People are like, wait a minute, Bitcoin's an all-time high. Maybe I should buy Bitcoin. So then you have all that feedback, all that excitement, and you get that push above all-time high, and then you get that next parabolic phase, that first parabolic advance above the all-time high. And now there's, of course, all these people that think they're genius, which, sure, you're a genius, right? You bought Bitcoin at good prices, and they're screaming how great the gains are and all that. And then you have that first parabolic advance, and now you have new investors stepping in, buying, right? And then again, another push to the upside. Now all these people here, feedback, right? Emotional feedback. Everyone, and then that's how it grows, right? That creates exponential demand, an exponential increase in demand, which is how parabolic formations are formed, is when you have an exponential increase in exposure, news, people talking about it, buyers, exponentially increasing. You get that parabolic shift, those higher lows. And then what happens in the end? You get to the point of over exuberance where you have a complete blow off top. This is the highest level we're going to go because there's not enough people to invest anymore. And the buzz and all the news, everybody on the news has said what they wanted to say. Everyone's heard about it. And the excitement hits a point where now there's no one left to pump, and we break the parabolic trend. Now, if you guys are early viewers of this channel, I literally have my second video on this channel is talking about this, right? If you look at the second video of this channel, I'm like, hey guys, we broke the parabolic trend. We had all these lows. Now we're breaking this trend. We're very likely going to be looking for a bear market. That was like the second video on my channel, was just looking at this parabolic trend and identifying the break, right? We had a breakdown of that trend. And that was it. And now the bear sentiment increases, right? And then you actually have emotional feedback as well in the opposite direction. Sometimes, definitely. Also, the way you can analyze this right here is, you have right, like support is demand and resistance is supply. So support represents demand and resistance represents supply re-entering the market. So you have supply entering the market. You have people selling. That's supply entering the market. And then you have more supply entering the market, right? And you see these lower highs. What does that mean? That means that the amount of sellers are outweighing the buyers. There's more supply entering the market than there is demand for the asset. And we create a descending triangle. That is the psychology of a descending triangle. Or that's sort of like the explanation. And then you break down, right? And Bitcoin dumps and just total panic, total fear, right? And then eventually, recently, guys, remember I was talking about this on my channel. We had, record volume on the weekly chart. That means Bitcoin hit a low point. We were talking about this in this range. We were looking for a reversal, a recovery. People thought I was crazy because of the virus, whatever. We get the recovery, but if you're looking at this area as well, same thing, guys. We break down, major move to the downside, huge volume. We actually find a low right in that area where you find that volume, and you recover. Similar thing happens at 14,000. Major volume spike. Again, this is Bitstamp, so it's actually not as good as, you can't really analyze volume as well as Coinbase, but same thing. Major spike in volume. That's a reversal. And again, major spike in volume. Same thing. That's a reversal. Right? So you're looking for these major volume spikes for your reversal indicator. And that's why we actually called this low, or at least after we bounced, I said, okay, well, that looks like a low to me. But we did it based off volume, right? And the same thing goes for 6,000 even, right? This area right here, 6,000, we had that temporary support, at least a temporary reversal after that major volume spike. So guys, volume, a lot of people in crypto were like, oh, you can trade Bitcoin over the counter, so volume, you don't look at volume. It's not true at all. Analyzing analyzing the volume for the available supply on the market is extremely valuable, and you can actually see it on the chart. You can actually make these calls. Actually, if I bring up Coinbase, it's almost even better because you can actually see it so much more clear here. If I'm looking at Coinbase, a bigger exchange, I mean, it's just staring you in the face. These macro signals, volume is really good for this. It's extremely good for looking for those reversals. And we just got one, guys, right? Same thing with this 20,000 area. We just got this right here, reversal. And if you'll notice, all of these areas, guys, all of these areas are major peaks and major lows. Major peak, 20,000, huge volume spike. Major peak just above 3,100, major volume spike. Major top, big volume spike. Major low, big volume spike. And there were so many people on Twitter that were so bearish on Bitcoin, and they were like, Bitcoin's going to go lower than 38.58, right? But now if you guys have been listening to what I've been saying here, and you understand what I'm getting at with this volume analysis, I was like looking at people that were saying Bitcoin was going to go lower, and I was just like looking at this volume, and I was like, there's just no way. Like, there's just no way. Like, that we would have to have like a Great Depression or something like crazy bad. But everything is possible. You're right. Everything is possible. But I was basing this bottom call based on technicals, actual technical analysis. A lot of people in crypto Twitter were expecting Bitcoin to go lower based off of logic. They were like, oh, logically, we're going to go lower again. Just off a whim. They were just like, oh, we're bearish. We're going to go lower. It was like logic. One thing that I noticed is a lot of people in crypto don't look at volume. I look at their charts, they post charts, I don't see the volume on their chart. And to me, that's a little weird. It's a little weird because at least for the higher time frames, like the weekly chart, it's great. It's great, guys. It's a great indicator. It helps me a lot, right? Sorry if I missed some comments, guys. But I hope everything I just said makes sense. A lot of important lessons there. We actually talked about emotional feedback. We discussed emotional feedback and what that means. And it basically explains why these types of parabolic runs take place. Why does this look the way it does? Why do we get parabolic formations? After this live stream is over, we'll just have time codes in the description, so you can click on it more easily, so you can watch it again. But we discussed why parabolic runs take place, and it has something to do with emotional feedback. Why does the bear market take place? And then we discussed also, very importantly, the importance of analyzing volume on the higher time frames to determine major market lows and major market highs. So that was all very important stuff. Craig Neve, what is up, dude? It's good to see you back. Hold on. I don't know why all my mods got removed. I'm going to add you back. So yeah, all that's very important stuff, guys. Everything I just discussed, very important stuff to know as you're trading Bitcoin for the long term. Because as all of my viewers know, I'm a very long-term oriented person. I don't really care about short-term stuff, right? Like Bitcoin dumps a few $100, Bitcoin dumps $1,000. I'm like, not a big deal. Of course, when we crashed to 38.58, that was kind of like a shock. I was like, whoa. Although I had strong hands, I made a tweet, actually. I could probably find the tweet. Maybe some of you guys will find it. When Bitcoin was sitting it was right before that final dip. It was like at 4,000 or something. Or actually, it was like in this wick. I was like, this is terrible, but I'm not going to sell. I'm not selling at this point. And then once we had this higher low, I was like, okay, I'm looking for buys now. And that's that tweet that I feature on my profile. Only looking for buys at this point. And really nice recovery. Bitcoin actually getting above, nice. Bitcoin actually getting above this resistance. That's good to see. Bitcoin getting above 7,810. So we're above previous resistance now. We're above this previous high right here, this previous wick right here. So that's good. Getting above that level. We're going to see if we can get this continuation. So we had a fake out, but it wasn't too bad. It didn't result in a dump, at least not yet. It was a fake out, but we're still continuing above resistance, so that's good. So that's all good. Definitely smash, guys, if you enjoyed that education, definitely smash the like button. Normally I don't do that kind of thing, but I kind of just went into in-depth about psychology more or less. Just looking at chat. I would say 8250 is more key, Craig. I mean, also the 200-day moving average, I guess, it would be closer to 8,000. A lot of people are talking about this. I don't think we're going to stop here, which I guess is just below 8,000 now. A lot of people are looking at the 200-day moving average as that target. I don't think we're going to stop there. I think we're probably going to continue up to 8250 if we have this breakout. So we are continuing above resistance now. Will you show your positions? Well, guys, I don't like want to publicly display everything that I have. But one thing that I did do for that purpose is I created an altcoin portfolio in Patreon. So if you guys want to see that, you can join Patreon, and basically you'll just be supporting my work on this channel, supporting the channel, getting extra content on Patreon, and seeing the altcoin portfolio that I created for Patreon. And I have about $10,000 US invested into that altcoin portfolio. And it was like a little project I had in Patreon recently where I was like, a few months ago, I made the decision that I want to create an altcoin portfolio and invest $10,000 US into it. And it's something that people on my Patreon can keep track of. And it's sort of like an experimental thing, but it's been pretty good so far. So one thing that's interesting about that, which I'm not going to show it here, although I am using CryptoWatch to manage that portfolio. Also sign up for CryptoWatch if you want, because it is the platform that I use to chart and trade with. But one interesting thing to note, guys, so I created that altcoin portfolio like here, like right when we broke above this 21-week EMA the last time, right here. I was like, all right, I want to create this altcoin portfolio. It looks like we're going to get bullish, right? So I was like buying into this move, and everything was great. And the altcoin portfolio was valued at like 7,000 at that point, right? Because I was still buying, slowly accumulating, right? And then we had this dump, and it dropped. I mean, the value of that altcoin portfolio was at like, it went from 7,000, it went from $7,000 valuation all the way down to like below 3,000. It was like 2.7. It was like 2.7K value down here, guys. If I can draw, it went to 2.7K, right? Huge, just like, it was crazy. And then I was like, I'm not going to sell. I'm just going to be accumulating more. We have that weekly volume indication. Looks like we're going to get a reversal. I just need to buy more. It's going to recover. I stayed calm. And if I can load this here, I started to buy altcoins in like all throughout this range. And now the interesting thing is that portfolio value is now at 10,000. It's now at 10K here because of how I handled the situation and I accumulated after the crash. Right? So even though my portfolio value was at 7K here, I'm actually, you know, that was now that portfolio is higher. But if you guys want to look at that, you can join Patreon. It's just a way to support the channel, and it's a way to get extra content, and you can see what altcoins I'm interested in. But no, I'm not going to display everything I own on the internet. I don't really think that's appropriate. But I am going to be building that altcoin portfolio up going into the next bull phase, hopefully. You know, I'm a long-term person, so that altcoin portfolio could, I mean, if we do enter a bullish phase of any kind, could actually have some significant growth if I continue to build it, which I do plan on building. I plan on adding different types of altcoins in there. But, yeah. Edward says, good night. Good night, man. Does CryptoWatch require KYC? No, it does not, guys. CryptoWatch is a platform. It is not an exchange, right? So you're looking at CryptoWatch on my screen right now. Like I have my account here. If you look at the top right. So this is not an exchange, but it allows me to trade on exchanges, right? So I don't trade on Bitstamp, which is what I'm on now, but if I hit this right tab and I open it, if I was connected to this exchange, which I'm not, with my API keys, I could be trading, right? But if I just go to exchange keys, if you do my account exchange keys, you can connect yourself to Bitfinex, Coinbase Pro, Bitstamp, Kraken, Plinix, all this stuff, right? All these top exchanges. And then you can trade directly off your charts, right? And you can manage your portfolio and stuff. So it's not an exchange, but you can connect to exchanges and then trade off of them using CryptoWatch. Kevin Blanger, thanks for joining, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, guys, definitely smash that like button as well. Just go through chat. Well, let's take a look. Someone says, do you think it'll keep going up? Well, I was expecting a stronger breakout, actually. But we had that weird fake out. But now, I mean, we're still above that previous resistance. I would like to see more volume here and more continuation. I think, you know, it's likely that we would continue up, but we'll see. The market is probably a little bit spooked that we had that weird wick, but I would say it's probably likely that we do continue up now. If that was going to be a fake out, I would have, you know, well, there's also the argument of the rising wedge. Let me get rid of some of this. You could also look at this too. That maybe we're getting resistance off the rising wedge resistance. No, I don't really, personally don't really look at it like that, but we're close to it, I guess. You know, some people think we're in the rising wedge, so we're going to be moving up to, you know, just below 8,000 at the 200-day moving average before getting rejection. Which I think is, I mean, I would say, yeah, at least up to the 200-day moving average probably. Yeah, I would like to see a little bit more volume for sure. Do I have this ambient music up right now? I don't know, it's not really that loud. I don't know if it's good or not. It's like relaxing music. Not exactly pump music, but it's just a nice track. If you can even hear it. So it looks like we are getting a little bit of continuation now, so we'll see. I would say at least up to the up to the potential rising wedge resistance, which is also going to be the 200-day moving average, about, at least pretty close to it. So just below 8,000, I would say at least, but we'll see. Just looking at chat now. Terran says, been your sub since you were at like 1 and 2K. Love the Patreon too. Dude, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the continued support, the long-term support. I appreciate that. Just looking at chat, talking about a lot of things already. Once this is done, which I might just continue to stream right now, but once it's done, I'll have time codes in the description so you can navigate through the stream and like watch key points. Lincoln says, sir, you're looking like a doll tonight. Thank you very much. Yeah, people always ask me, hey Kev, like, are you ever going to be a bear? And it's like, yeah, yes, absolutely. My channel was created from being bearish, right? People are like, oh, Kevin, you're such a permabull, and I just like facepalm because I am known for making bearish price calls. That's what I'm known for, and recently I've been getting more bullish though. But guys, yeah, like these market cycles were very easy to spot. I think it's like the second video on this channel was this parabolic trend breaking right here. This right here, we break down, and I was saying like, okay, this is like a bearish indication, we're breaking down. Same thing, right? And then I called the bear market. Same thing right here. I was like, parabolic trend is breaking, bearish. People didn't believe me again. We break down, right? So if I see this type of structure again, where we come up, break that parabolic trend, I'll be getting real bearish again, right? And you won't like me, but I'll let you know that I'm bearish. Trust me. I effed up by watching Data Dash. Well, Data Dash is a good channel. He's very informative. Well, here's the thing, guys. A lot of people were bullish on Bitcoin, right? Everybody was bullish on Bitcoin in this range in 2018. Like, so much bullishness. Because everyone just saw this happen, and they were like, let's do it again. I want to make $1 trillion, right? So, like, every YouTube channel was very, very bullish. Everyone. And I was, like, one of the few bears. And I was getting like no views. I was getting like nobody cared because they were like, oh, you're wrong. You're just wrong. Like crypto's the next best thing, which I think it is. But they were like, oh, we're going to the moon. And I was, sticking to my guns for all of 2018. But everyone was bullish, except for a few. There were a few that weren't. But yeah, I wouldn't blame anyone in particular because everybody was bullish in 2018. And the reason my channel started growing after this, right when we broke down, right when we started to sell off, I had a huge spike in subscribers. Huge spike. I don't want to make you guys fall asleep. I don't know. This might be too relaxing. Someone's saying that the music is too relaxing. I need like pump music where I don't even know. Some like hardcore EDM. Yeah, Sunny Decrease shouting me out was massive for this channel. Massive. Do you think a substantial pullback before the halving is in the cards? I think it's completely possible. Before the halving, I don't know. We're really close. And yeah, it's hard for me to really like say like, oh, we're gonna do this before the halving or after the halving. Like it's, you know, whether we're gonna pump or dump before or after, I don't know. Right? That's not easy to tell. Some key things to remember though is that Bitcoin already had a significant drop. We went from 10,500 to like 38.58, right? That's huge. So like we already had the downside. I don't think we're going lower than that. Pretty sure that was the low based on that volume signature. And you know, determining whether we're going to dump before the halving or after the halving, that's very hard to say. Right now things are very bullish. Right now, there's a lot of bullish speculative demand where people are like the halving's coming in, so people are kind of just like piling into the crypto market, trying to get a hold of crypto just in case things are like super bullish going to the halving. So we have bullish speculative demand. But the key thing to remember is that we already had this dump, which was a huge dump. So if we do get any sort of correction, you know, I wouldn't expect all that much. Right? I wouldn't expect all too much. And again, a correction may have to do with the stock market dumping again, right? I have this depiction on the chart right now. If the S&P sees a reversal and a dump, then yes, maybe Bitcoin could see some downside. But again, also, a lot of conflicting variables here that I'm discussing, but Bitcoin is pushing above the 21-week EMA, which is historically very bullish, if we can get a clear break above it. Also, another very bullish signal, it would be, wait, why can't I see this? Sorry about that. Hold on. All these things on the chart, gonna remove that. Gonna pull up the weekly MACD. MACD on the weekly is getting a bullish cross, right? So we're getting that bullish cross on the weekly for the MACD. Sorry, that took us a long time to bring up, but very bullish signal. This MACD weekly bullish cross. Great bullish signal to have as we're moving into the halving, as we're breaking above resistance right now. Really cool thing to see, that bullish cross, potential bullish cross, I guess. So that is another big thing to keep in mind. So I don't know. Any dump, in my opinion, would be pretty small, probably. I don't expect much bearishness unless the global markets are like super bearish out of nowhere, right? But also, guys, you know, I've discussed the Bitcoin stock market correlation a lot. And again, it's not like Bitcoin is just completely tied to the stock market, or Bitcoin is kind of, Bitcoin is correlated, Bitcoin's not correlated. It's actually a mix, right? It depends on what the stock market is doing, how it affects Bitcoin. What is the global market environment like? Are we super bearish? Are we super bullish? Or are we kind of just, you know, not doing all too much? And all these different types of environments change how it affects Bitcoin. So it's not one or the other, right? People that say like we're not correlated, you know, that's wrong. People who are like we're always correlated, that's also wrong. It's like it depends on the environment. There's a lot of factors that play into it. So if the stock market sees like a huge dump, just straight up, just we just like curl over and we're just like boop, we're just straight down. Bitcoin's gonna dump, right? But if the stock market does like this, and we're just like kind of like methodically just like, you know, doing this, Bitcoin won't be affected that much. Not much is going to happen to Bitcoin. I mean, we'll see certain days Bitcoin will sell off for the stock market, but if it happens like this, you know, Bitcoin will be able to kind of move on its own. Like certain days, like maybe this day in here or like this day right here, yeah, Bitcoin will be probably bearish that day because there's a huge drop in the stock market certain days. But overall, Bitcoin might actually be able to keep up, hold its own bullish structure and continue to, maybe trade, like certain days, maybe Bitcoin is bearish. You see what I mean? Like going into the halving, there'd be like these days where there's like that correlation on those days. You see what I'm saying? That's kind of what I look for, and that's actually what happens. That's what the correlation is like. So it all depends on what the environment is. Super bullish, super bearish, Bitcoin usually follows. If it's more methodical and we're just kind of like stair-stepping down, Bitcoin can do its own thing. So you got to keep all these factors play into it. There is no simple answer, guys. There's no simple answer. It's not like an easy answer. Oh, we have a bunch of donations coming in. Southside Playa comes in and he says, you giving a needed live. Explain one last time that we have been done with the recent resistance. Wait, explain one last time that we have been done with the recent resistance? I'm not totally sure what you mean. Recent, so you're saying recent resistance, like this right here, I guess. I think you're talking about the resistance that we're at right now. 7,810. This is recent resistance right here. We are pushing above it, right? So guys, when I started the stream, we were pumping, and then I started the stream, and of course, Bitcoin reverses down. We have this candle, but now we're coming back up. So here's what we need to see is, Bitcoin, maybe the breakout is not super powerful, but as long as we're holding above this range, this previous resistance, and we can get higher lows and continue up, right? And we just like maintain this higher low structure. Well, that's, as long as we're holding that previous resistance as new support, we'll probably have a continued breakout. Maybe it's a little bit slower, but we can't say for sure if this resistance is, or if this breakout is confirmed. We are technically in breakout territory right now because we're above previous resistance. We're above 7,810. And we're not seeing that much selling. As I've been saying, guys, like on Twitter, I've been saying stuff like this, like, here, let me go to, where is it? Guys, definitely follow me on Twitter. I put out a lot of good info on Twitter. At least I think so. Oh yeah, like this one. The selling pressure is very light. Buyers continue to show up. Bullish speculative demand for the upcoming halving is driving prices up and allowing us to sustain higher prices. And also, people are just not selling because of the halving, guys. People want to buy Bitcoin at these levels. They don't want to sell. It's obvious because of the halving, right? So the speculative demand for the halving is keeping the sellers out of the market. Not to mention, we also just had a major dump, right? So we already had this giant bearish correction. So the sellers already kind of got, people already sold. People had their stops hit. Shorts made a ton of money if they took profits. So you got to keep in mind, there's not that much selling. Look at the weekly volume. There's like not much selling pressure because all of these things. We already had a huge dump. Halving is coming up. We have bullish speculators coming back into the market, right? So I would say that we'll likely continue bullish. Corrections in between, totally possible. Small dumps in between, totally possible. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the short-term stuff, we'll see if we're actually going to break out. We could still dump below this, guys. We could still dump below. Also, we have some more. So, Southside, I appreciate that $10 donation. Much appreciated. I'm not sure if I answered your question. You can ask it. Just comment again. Spykeeper Speed says, "Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for everything, Kevin. I've really enjoyed your channel. Learned a lot." Well, I appreciate this dono. $20 is very generous, and I appreciate your donation. And I'm glad you're enjoying the content, guys. I'm glad you're enjoying everything I've been providing on this channel. Recently, I haven't been doing as much live streams. I did a ton of live streams after we broke this parabolic trend here, and I was calling for like a correction. But since then, I've done like no live streams for like many, many, many months. Until recently, I did my first one the other day, and now I'm doing the second one in many months. But Spiker Speed, I think that's how you say it. I really appreciate that, and I'm glad you're enjoying the content. MJ says Chainlink will outperform everything. I kind of agree with you. I want to agree with you. I don't know if it's going to happen, but right now Chainlink is like the demand for Chainlink is like reminding me of Ethereum back in 2017 at those low prices. Like there's just so much demand for Chainlink right now. It's like reminding me of Ethereum at those low prices. MJ says I can listen to Kevin speak all day. Well, that's good to hear. Crypto Contemplation says 9K tomorrow. 9K tomorrow. That would be one hell of a move. So we're going to see if this is a fake out or a breakout or a fake out. Not totally sure just yet. We are above resistance, but we're not getting any major volume though. Just going through chat. You guys in the Discord last night in Discord, so we had like an audio chat all together in the Discord, which is pretty cool. It was like 10 of us in the audio chat. We were all just, which I haven't really done in Discord all too much recently. And that was like one of our biggest chats yet. So that was fun. Edward Park was just talking about that. Yeah, guys, definitely join the Discord. I'm talking in Discord all the time. So you can hop in there, let me know what you think about the market, ask me questions, talk to the community, all that stuff. So that's another thing. Sammy Davis says, volume has definitely decreased steadily on the weekly. Right, that's true. But one thing to also keep in mind is if you're looking at the volume on the weekly chart, right? So one mistake that a lot of people have been making that I've noticed is they look at the chart and let's just go to like the 12-hour. They're looking at the chart and they're looking at it like this, right? And they just see the volume dwindle and they're like, wow, the volume's so low. That's what people say. They look at the chart and visually they're like, oh man, the volume's so low. But if you just go to the weekly and you just like compare it, I mean, it's not low. It's actually pretty good. The volume has been pretty high actually. This huge pocket of buy volume on the weekly, bullish volume, I should say. But you know, volume levels have actually been pretty significant. I mean, like we're talking about volume levels consistently above volume levels above the average volume of this run up. You see? So that's actually pretty good. But there is a decline, of course, guys. There is a decline. So that's, of course, some people would argue that means that we're going to have a sell-off at some point, which is totally possible. We actually did get a bearish daily close here. It's interesting, but we are still pushing up. Just fighting resistance right now a little bit. Guys, definitely subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel. How do you think BTC will perform in the long term if we enter a deflationary spiral, decreased demand, and record unemployment has also predicted this? Well, guys, you got to remember though that you're going to get record re-employment, right? The reason why we have record unemployment right now is because everything's closed, right? Once the government tells everyone, hey, get back to work, you can do what you want to do now, you're going to see record re-employment. People, employers are going to be calling up employees and say, hey, we're back on, we're open again. Do you need work? Hey, do you need work? And then you're going to see re-employment come back, right? You got to keep that in mind too. It's not just going to stay like this. If businesses can open again, they're going to be calling up employees like crazy, and you're going to see that unemployment number just go like this and just drop again. There will still be a lot of repercussions, and there's going to be a lot of businesses that go out of business and they can't reopen, and people lose their jobs, of course. But I kind of just went off on a tangent about jobs. But I think Bitcoin's going to perform well, as long as we don't have another like second wave and there's like a huge crisis again and things get even worse. Other than that, I think Bitcoin will do all right. Well, we're going to see huge downswings, huge upswings in between, right? A lot of people that are kind of new to trading, what I've noticed recently, or I mean, not recently, but a lot of people who are new, they kind of just think that we're not supposed to go down. They think that if we're in a bull trend, we're not supposed to go down, right? Like even if Bitcoin dumps, there's so much room to get support and like create larger scale formations and I wouldn't even be too concerned about something like that. I'm not even too concerned. I mean, right now, everything has been extremely bullish. So if you've been bullish on Bitcoin recently, I mean, it's been a breeze. It's been a total breeze. We've just been higher lows, higher highs. It's been a little bit boring because we're getting a lot of sideways action, but it's been a breeze to be a bull since the crash. Also, Bitcoin's trading back in 2019 levels. We've had like a full recovery. I mean, we're trading, at this breakout level. After that 64.30 low was found, we're back at 2019 levels, doing pretty well. Above the 21-week EMA, historically very bullish sign. So if we can get some continuation with this weekly candle through the 21-week EMA, that's very, very bullish. And you're going to see a lot of altcoins pop off. A lot of altcoin action will take place if we get some continuation above this. So keep that in mind as well. Polynesian USA comes in with a 5, and he says, do you think now is a good time to buy some ETH and Link or wait for a dip? Well, guys, honestly, like long term, it's definitely a good time to buy long term, right? I'm not a financial advisor. Let me just say that first off. In my opinion, like I would buy Link right now. If that's what you're asking, I would totally buy Link right now, right? I would buy Ethereum right now, which I already have been doing that. But I'm saying like I wouldn't even have a problem, right? I wouldn't even be worried because I don't. A lot of people have different trading styles. A lot of people in crypto are a little bit more focused on short term because they're leverage trading. So they don't like get that I'm a long-term trader. So like little moves don't really mean too much to me. And I also accumulate, right? So I increase positions over time. So I would love to buy the Link right now. I would love to buy Ethereum right now for the long term. Even if we sold off for the next month, I wouldn't care. I'd be like, okay, well, I still have more Link for the long term. I wouldn't really care too much. Honestly, that's just how I think. That's just like my mindset. So personally, like, guys, I mean, I was literally buying Chainlink at the highs. I was buying all the way up from that low, all the way up to that high. I was buying all the way up that run, and then we crashed, and I was buying more at the low. Right, so I'm not like huge on. I'm not huge on timing the market in the short term. So guys, what I do is I look for macro signals. Right, that is literally what my channel is based off of: macro signals. looking for the major signals for the next bear market or the major signals for the next bull market. Where are we finding a major top for and then like what direction are we going for the next few months? And where are we finding that next major low? Where are we going for the next few months? That's what I look for. And that's why my analysis stays exactly the same for like months on end. I come back on my videos and I just provide the same analysis for weeks and months, because I want to bring my viewers something that is consistent, that stays the same, and that actually plays out like something that's grounding for my viewers that they can like follow. Not like one day I say this, one day I say this. Like I personally, that's not my style. I like to just provide a very similar analysis for months. That way, it's like you can really follow it. Padraic, how do you say that? Padraic? I'm not sure how to say your name. It says, love your work. Opinion on CME futures influencing price spikes. I mean, the large increases like the recent one on 23rd of April, not sure, I think some. So I personally don't follow futures all too much. Some people tell me that I should. First off, I appreciate your donation, but I don't follow futures that much. A lot of people talk about like futures gaps and stuff, and I probably should, but I don't. And a lot of people look for like, Bitcoin to fill CME gaps, which sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But there's some people out there that think like every gap has to be filled, and I think that's complete bogus. CME futures definitely influences the price, for sure, guys. Absolutely. But I've just never, which is weird because I'm telling you that it definitely influences it, but I don't really watch it, which is a little weird. I probably should. But again, I'm more focused on the longer term signals rather than, is CME going to, short-term effects of CME. I mean, obviously, CME, they created futures for Bitcoin at 20,000 at the very top. They locked in profits, like almost guaranteed their money on the way down. So I do think that there's some interplay between Bitcoin's price and CME for sure. But I'm not, I'm more well versed in Bitcoin stock market correlation. I understand that a lot more than actually even see how CME affects Bitcoin. So I'm not really the right person to ask for that, but what are we at right now for Bitcoin? 7,836. So we're still sustaining above resistance. I don't know much about Hive. I've heard a lot of people talk about it recently. I would really like to see more volume on this push. I would really like to see this push up a little bit more. Get some real confirmation on volume for a breakout, which we haven't gotten yet. Do you like Chainlink? Yes, I definitely like Chainlink. I talk about Chainlink a lot. Yeah, Eric Crown's Crypto Cave, he definitely can inform you about the CME Futures Bitcoin. Whatever question you have about that, he definitely has some answers for you. MJ says not enough people buying. Well, they definitely are buying. I think the market's just waiting for a confirmation. You know what I mean? Trust me, if we do see like the price snaps up and we see an increase in volume, you're going to see FOMO kick in. But everyone's probably just waiting right now. I mean, we do have a breakout technically. It's not very strong yet. But we're now just coming up to this previous cluster of support resistance in this range right here. So that's an interesting thing to note as well, is like we had this cluster of support resistance right here, and we had this huge dump, and we've had all this action, and now we're actually coming back up to that previous point right there. So this is getting interesting. Also, 7,700 is that previous support, previous resistance, right? And that's kind of what we're fighting right now as well. We're actually pushing above it at the moment, but we're just coming up on that previous action that we saw historically. Support resistance, even support right here, the beginning of 2020, and even support right here before the major dump for the crisis event. Crypto Whale says, I've been following you for a while, and I know that you love Chainlink, but Tezos is what's gonna ignite the alts run. Well, Tezos and Chainlink have actually had kind of similar price action. They've been pretty similar. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Ethereum is definitely going to stay the dominant smart contracts platform. Tezos is interesting because it's like a different take on it, with like a community governed blockchain, but I think Tezos is going to do well. I don't know if it's going to lead the alt run though. I don't think so. I think that's going to actually have more to do with Bitcoin. I mean, with well, obviously Bitcoin, but Ethereum, XRP, and then all the other top alts are going to follow. But the thing is, Tezos and Chainlink both have a very high level of demand, and I honestly think that we're going to see pretty similar levels of demand for both of them. I think it's going to be like, I've seen a lot of people like choose between Tezos and Chainlink, which I think is pretty funny too, which they're very different types of innovations, but there's just a very similar level of demand for both of them. Just going through chat. Dip before breakout, Dino asks. I have no idea. I mean, we're above resistance right now, so technically we're in a breakout. It's just not very powerful. I mean, I guess you could also make this argument that we would have to get above the rising wedge resistance for there to be a true breakout, which is possible. But in terms of horizontals, we are seeing higher prices now. Someone's asking me what's my prediction for midterm, let's say post Bitcoin halving. Well, honestly, it's hard for me to just say what I think is going to happen. You know, I was looking for this macro low signal, which is playing out now. This reversal, the bump and run, the bump and run that we called like a month ago, and then YouTubers started talking about it like a week ago. But that also played out really well. So all this is playing out, and we're getting the bullish action that I was looking for, but it's hard to say, like, are we going to have a post-halving dump or a pre-halving pump or whatever? I really can't tell. Like, I don't know. It's hard to say with this environment. We just had a global crisis, Bitcoin crash. We had this reversal. Bitcoin's looking bullish. We're seeing higher prices. Where the halving's not so far away. to say what, you know, are we going to have a having pump or dump? It's hard. That is really an insider thing. If you're a Bitcoin insider and you know what the biggest holders are all thinking and what they're going to do, then you might have a chance of actually making a prediction on that. I don't really know. We'll see. It's really hard to say that specifically. I think we're going to be bullish from here on out, though. That doesn't mean we can't see corrections. We totally can, but I think, you know, guys, you have to remember that even if Bitcoin did something like this is still like you can still have a bullish trend. You know what I mean? So you got to stay level-headed even when you see these sharp declines. Like you got to keep a level head. Like, you know, okay, yeah, we're going down, but what does that really mean? And that's what happened all the way up, guys. I remember, like, after this crash, I was calling for a reversal, higher prices, and people were like, "How dare you be bullish on Bitcoin? We're in a crisis event. How dare you? We're going to go so much lower." And then every time we see these little moves down, people were like, "You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong," but we just keep going up and up and up, and it's just like, it's been really funny. Shorts have been getting squeezed all the way up. It's been kind of crazy for everybody. It's been crazy for the bulls because of this crash, and then it's been crazy for the bears because they didn't get any of the corrections they were looking for. So it's been wild. Right. Some people are saying, like, sell the news, sell the halving, right? People are saying, yeah, I mean, again, all of this is really just speculation, but I think we already had, like, a major dump in the market. So even if there is a halving dump, I don't think it'll be all too bad. I'm kind of just chatting with chat. Earlier in the stream, I was, like, doing my own thing, just going through all the things I wanted to talk about. And now I'm kind of just chatting with the stream. At the end of the stream, I think I'm going to do a little time code description so you can search through the stream, make it easier to look at or to search through. I really need like a notepad here that I can like write stuff down, but that would also be distracting. John Wayne says, "I have little food and I spent my government check on Bitcoin." Well, that's a lot of dedication that you're choosing Bitcoin over food. I would give you an A+ for dedication to Bitcoin and an F- for responsibility, but do whatever you want to do. I mean, I guess you're making money technically. If you bought Bitcoin with it, you're probably up, so that's good at least. But definitely survive. Definitely make sure you have your essentials. But choosing food over Bitcoin is pretty epic, gotta say. Sorry, choosing Bitcoin over food is a pretty epic move. Not necessarily smart, though. We definitely gotta clap it up here for John Wayne. Clap it up in the chat for John Wayne for choosing Bitcoin over food. That's some dedication. That's amazing. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but it's pretty epic. MJ says he took his $1,200 stimulus check and bought Chainlink. Polynesian USA says, "I choose Bitcoin over my wife." I would tell your wife to slap you, but Just hanging out with chat at this point. But we'll see, guys. The breakout is not very powerful, but it is technically a breakout. We're not really getting continuation. It's pretty annoying, actually, that we're just sitting here like this. Guys, definitely smash the like button. Let's get up to like 300 likes. I don't even think we're there yet. Guys, we need 300 likes. We're not even at 300. Actually, we have 400 people watching the stream right now, which means we should have 400 likes. Edward Park is talking about the OBV in Discord. Oh, yeah, guys, definitely join the Discord as well. All right, we just mooned past 300 likes. I really wish this breakout was more powerful, but we're kind of just chilling. We're kind of just hanging out. Yeah, volume is definitely not convincing yet, I agree. Not yet. Did you guys see that Spartan video I made? Oh, yeah, you guys, the Spartans did really well, actually. You guys got to check that out. Again, I already went over like a lot of things I wanted to talk about in the stream, and now I'm kind of just hanging out with the chat. Where's this video? Yeah, after we had the major crash, I made this like meme video, and the Spartans actually achieved what I wanted in this video. Definitely watch that after the stream, whatever. It's a really funny video. I think that video is hilarious because it actually worked. It actually played out. Do you think Ethereum will break out higher than Bitcoin based on past performance? You mean like initially, like well, the percentage swings are going to be higher for Ethereum generally. So I guess, but we'll see. I really don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. I'm not totally sure actually, because Ethereum is already up and has already exceeded the 21-week EMA, which I think is pretty interesting. We're already above the 21-week EMA. Bitcoin's at it right now. We've actually seen a really nice recovery for Chainlink. I mean, for Ethereum, not Chainlink. Sorry. I guess technically it's like similar. Similarly, we're retracing back to similar areas within the market structure for Ethereum. You know what? I would think that actually Bitcoin's breakout would be more powerful than Ethereum's right now. Probably. If Bitcoin actually had like a real breakout here, Bitcoin's breakout would probably be a little bit more powerful than Ethereum's initially. And then once Bitcoin sees a little bit of sideways action, then Ethereum might pump more. We just created a new 4-hour candle here, guys. So let's see what the market wants to do upon the creation of a new 4-hour. So new 4-hour candles forming now. This is probably where we're going to see if we get continuation or not. Is now in this next 4-hour candle. This will be an interesting one. Brian says, "What is Chainlink?" Well, like a quick description, I guess, would be like, it allows smart contracts to interact with real world data. For first and foremost, I guess, was the initial use case, was allowing smart contracts to connect themselves to outside oracles, external sources of data that are trusted, and you can link it to an Ethereum smart contract and actually have like an external data source interact with the Ethereum smart contract. So that way, because normally, guys, Ethereum, like smart contracts are actually not smart, right? Smart contracts are not smart. You have a smart contract with a piece of code on it or whatever. It determines, like, you send Ethereum into it, and that piece of code is set in stone, and the result, right? And the result will be the same thing every time, usually. The same result, the same result, the same result. Now you use Chainlink to take an outside trusted source of information, and you link it to that smart contract. Now that smart contract is changing in real time based on the outside data. So now the smart contract can change its outcome to whatever you would like it to be based on the real world data. So it sounds, I'm not sure if you followed that, but that's basically what it is. That is a basic description, and it makes smart contracts smart. It actually makes smart contracts smart, which is very big innovation. Big step for smart contracts and crypto in general. Big step there. And Chainlink can even be used for things that are not even blockchain related, right? Just linking like using, for like API systems, having them linked to trusted sources of information using Chainlink. Like I think Swift is looking to do that. So I hope that answered your question about Chainlink. Let's see. So we have a new 4-hour candle. I actually don't want to end the stream just yet. I'm not going to end it. I'm actually just going to go get some water, and we're going to take like a 3-4 minute break, and I'll be right back. We'll continue to hang out, and we'll see if we can get this continuation for this breakout. We are above previous resistance, which was 7,810. So we're going to see if we can get some continuation on here or not. Is it a breakout or a fake out? Right now, we're technically in breakout territory, but it's pretty slow. Guys, I'm gonna put the screen on hold. I'm staying. I'm gonna continue to stream. But while I'm gone, in the description of the live stream, sign up for CryptoWatch, follow me on Twitter, join the Discord channel, all that stuff. If you need an exchange to sign up for Kraken. But I'll be right back, guys. Definitely stick around, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and I'll be back in like 5 minutes or something like that. We'll see. All right, guys, I'm back. So this stream has been going for like 2 hours already. So definitely hit that like button. Definitely subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Let's see if we can get this to 400 likes. We're at 330 right now. Still continuing the stream. I started this stream off because Bitcoin was breaking resistance. We see a dump, and we bounce back through resistance, and now we're technically in breakout territory, although it's going very slow. So we're going to see if we can get some more volume to come into the market. But at this point, we're just hanging out. We'll see what happens. Everything's looking good. The crypto market's nice and green right now. People are asking about Hive, but CryptoWatch says it's down 48%. I guess it had a pump and dump, a little bit of a dump. Just looking at top gainers here. Of course, some of the top gainers, you just never know what they actually are. It's just like random. All right, so new 4-hour candle here. We'll see how this one plays out. I'm hoping that this 4-hour candle can at least come back up to the previous high here at 7,876. Hopefully we close this 4-hour at least up at this previous area right here, which would allow us to get at least some momentum for a potential continued move. So I'm looking for, if we're going to get real continuation here, we're going to need to see like a 0.5% move up to 7,876 and get a close up against that previous high. And if we can do that, then likely we'll see that next 4-hour candle probably continue up. You know, that would be the most likely scenario at that point. But we'll see. Obviously, what we don't want to see if you're a bull is rejection below resistance or previous resistance. We want to just remain above previous resistance and see continuation up to that previous high for the next 4 hours or the next 3 hours and 50 minutes. And then see that continuation off the next 4-hour candle. But we'll see. We'll see, guys. Futures. So futures are looking good. I guess we're up for S&P futures, we're up 1.2%. So that's good. That could help with some bullish sentiment, possibly. But we'll see. We'll see how we get continuation. You know, on my channel, guys, I have a couple of videos not too long ago talking about how we were talking about how it's potentially upwards of 3,000 for the S&P. I would say that would be max, though. What's interesting is like we've already recovered back to these levels, like this previous resistance from 2018, and this area right here from 2018, previous support from 2019. We're like already back, which is really weird to me because we have like an economic shutdown. Although, like I saw it coming. Like on my channel, we were talking about this move. Really because the Fed is printing money, I figured, okay, we probably see some volatility. Huge upswings, huge downswings. This definitely doesn't represent reality, but knowing how manipulated the market is, this is kind of what we've been looking for on this channel. But generally, I guess we could look at the Dow Jones. Wait. So one thing that happens a lot at the end of major market cycles is you get like these areas of like lower lows, horizontal highs, or like lower lows, lower highs, like this type of a broadening wedge or something. It's like descending broadening wedge. This is like going into 2000. And now it's like, again, guys, look, you see that? How we have these like, you know, coming to the end of a major market cycle. And it's like this type of volatility before the next run up, end of the next major market cycle, all that volatility, big downswings, huge upswings. And that's kind of like on that. Basically, the reason why I thought we would get a bounce back off of this next like lower low was literally just based off historical data. That okay, what does it usually look like? Usually, we get a lower low and then a huge bounce at the end of major market cycles, and we do that a few times actually. And that's kind of what we were basing this off of in some of my past videos. And we did get that bounce, and it's looking kind of similar now. It's looking kind of similar for the Dow Jones. So you could expect possibly a little bit more upside, and then maybe some downside again, a lower low, maybe a bounce up, possibly a lower low again. A lot of volatility, guys, usually. And then maybe some type of recovery eventually. But definitely expect volatility, because that's generally what takes place in these cycles, right? That's at least what I would be expecting at this point, or I would be looking for. We'll see how it actually plays out. And the interesting thing to see will be Bitcoin has always been bullish going into the halving. So, you know, if the stock market does see that type of volatility, so that's another thing. Bitcoin has never seen this volatility before, right? Bitcoin was released after the 2008 crisis, and we've just gone up, 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 dump. Bitcoin hits 3150. We continue up, up, dump. Bitcoin hits 3858 on this low. But here's the difference. Now we're at a point where we're actually confirming, okay, we're at like a market cycle top, and now we have to expect like formations, you know, like this type of formations like this, probably, most likely. Just a lot of volatility. That's at least what I would think. So it's going to be interesting. Bitcoin was released at the bottom of the market, and it's only seen upside, and now we're seeing this huge area of volatility. So what is Bitcoin going to do? Bitcoin has never seen this before. And what makes things even more interesting is that we're entering the halving. And historically, the halving has always been very bullish for Bitcoin. Right? So we follow stock to flow generally, and historically Bitcoin follows this model. So even if the stock market, or like if the stock market does see this type of movement, like just a lot of volatility, can Bitcoin's halving, can the bullish speculative demand outweigh any sort of bearishness? I think it's possible, actually. I think Bitcoin will be affected, though, a little bit at least. But it is interesting to note that Bitcoin finds its lows when the market finds its lows as well. Just keep that in mind. One interesting thing is that during this area here, pretty sure Bitcoin actually was not bearish. If I remember correctly, it would be probably this area right here. So let's look at that again. This is like August, I guess, beginning of September 2015. Beginning of September 2015. Well, I guess Bitcoin was at a low. So maybe it did have a reaction there. But this, I think it was the second dump, February, beginning of February on the second dump here, Bitcoin was, looking pretty bullish. Actually trading, seeing bullish moves, higher lows, entering an uptrend, while the stock market was actually seeing like some more bearish price action, some dumps. Bitcoin was generally looking bullish. So that's also interesting to note, that we actually have one area where Bitcoin was bullish while the stock market was looking a little bit more bearish. So we'll see. It's not totally like set in stone how Bitcoin is going to react. The having demand could outweigh bearish sentiment in the global markets, but I would expect that we will see at least a little bit of correlation there. Just looking at chat. MJ says, Kevin, thanks for getting the word out on Link. You've been making me money. Well, that's good to hear. There's a lot of demand for Chainlink. You're an epic drawer. A lot of people have told me that I'm very good at drawing. See, I just stare at the chart so much that like I have like an instinct for like what moves look like. So I always have like good formations on my drawings, and people always like tell me that. It's pretty funny. I'll actually draw out actual patterns on the fly, like in my chart. But it's never something to trade off of. It's just a depiction. I'm not like, my drawings aren't my like. I mean, sometimes I try to draw exactly what I'm thinking, but sometimes I'll just be general. Should I start playing Martin Garrix? MJ says. Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, I painted oil's chart down to -42 for sure. Someone's saying, are you ready for a barcode tattoo or chip? No, I refuse. Like, this is actually great to comment for this. Right here, guys. I refuse to get Bill Gates' microchip. Looking at the 30-minute chart, we're still just hanging out above resistance. Not all too much taking place, though. Ethereum Classic is seeing some upside. Ethereum Classic has been seeing some moves recently, I think. But what I'm most interested in right now is the 21-week EMA. Because we're above it, and like I've been explaining, historically it's very pivotal moving average for bullish and bearish phases. And now we're above it, but I want to see continuation here. I would love to see continuation. Being above it feels good, though. We'll see. You know, some people are arguing that this is like the rising wedge resistance and that we're going to pull back from here, which, with the low volume on this breakout for the horizontal resistance breakout, that argument could be made. Could be made. But we'll see. Javed says, what is your lowest target for Bitcoin? Probably like the lowest I think we could go is just like a major higher low. Or like the lowest I would think Bitcoin's going to go at this point would basically be something like that. This is like the lowest I think we would go. Just like a larger scale higher low. Like most bearish, I would say, is something in this direction, which could be like 5,000. So if the stock market sees some kind of crazy drop again, and we're just like the stock market's like super bearish, I don't know, just uber bearish, which I don't think it'll happen like that, but Bitcoin may actually do something like this. I mean, this drawing was absurd. But like just like super bearish, then maybe Bitcoin could be coming back to 5K. It's possible. Someone was just asking me what my most bearish scenario is, and that it would be something like that. So if we can hold 7,810 and bounce off of it, that would be good. But if we don't, then what this probably means is that the people that are looking at this as a rising wedge might be right. Right? The people that are looking at this as rising wedge resistance, they might be onto something there at least, And maybe we're going to be seeing a pullback to 7,250, 7,300, maybe. We'll see. The 200-day moving average is just below 8,000. So that fails a 200-week. Let's check that out. Edward brought up a good point. Yeah, I mean, the thing about that though is like, again, we had like wicks below the 200-week moving average, and we had our weekly candles closing just below it. We generally, like, we had wicks down here, but generally, we had most of the price action taking place at it. So let's say we're super bearish, like this wouldn't really be like all too surprising, something like that. And I don't think it would be that big of a deal in terms of breaking below the 200-week moving average. I think you can still break it without being like ultra doom bearish, right? Just because we go below it doesn't mean that we're super bearish all of a sudden in terms of like seeing lower lows. It's still a higher low on the chart, even if we're below the 200-week moving average. You just want to see, you want to see the bulls at least put in some support on it before we drop below it, and then maybe get some resistance off of it to validate it again before a breakout. Like that, you want to see the price at least just like interacting with it. But falling below it wouldn't be the end of the world if we were to get super bearish. In my opinion, I could be wrong. KB says, Kevin, been following you for a while. You don't push these S coins like other YouTubers. Yeah, I don't really focus on altcoins that much. So pretty much almost every video on my channel is only Bitcoin, because Bitcoin determines the price of most coins. So Bitcoin's the most important. I do dabble into stock market movements correlated to Bitcoin a little bit when it's important, when it's relevant, because it's not always relevant. I do dabble into some altcoins like Chainlink and Ethereum. I've done like analysis on those before. But yeah, I don't focus too much on altcoins. Actually, my Patreon does have more focus on altcoins in terms of like what altcoins I'm buying, what I'm holding. And my patrons can see one of the altcoin portfolios that I have. 911 says altcoins equal S coins. I disagree. Guys. Crypto is a very innovative technology that can be used in so many different ways. The possibilities for crypto technology, for blockchain technology, the use case potential, like there's just so much, right? Like, okay, so let me just show you why things other than Bitcoin are good. If I have a company and I want to have automatic payments, I can set up a smart contract on the Ethereum platform to make that happen. I can't do that with Bitcoin. There are ways to do it, but it's not made for that. It's not. Ethereum is what you want to use. So if I want to use cryptocurrencies to automatically pay out all my employees and just automate that, I use Ethereum to do that. And I create a smart contract and I put all of my employees' addresses into that smart contract, and then it will just automatically pay out those employees through the smart contract. It'll just automatically do it. So great. Ethereum can do stuff like that. Super basic idea. But now let's say I have a huge company and I have like 1,000 employees and I want to do the automatic payments with crypto, but the smart contract only has a set list of employees in it, employees' addresses. It's a set list because that's what smart contracts are. They're like set in stone. That's not very useful because I have 1,000 employees. I'm going to be firing this guy tomorrow. I'm going to be hiring this girl tomorrow. That list needs to change. I don't want to make a new smart contract every day. So what do? I take Chainlink and I get my employee database, link my employee database to Chainlink to the Ethereum smart contract, and now that employee list will change based off of that database. And now I don't have to worry about changing the smart contract. It'll just change using Ethereum and Chainlink. Can't do that with Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin, and all my videos are about Bitcoin, but you really need to have an open mind about what the use case is and how this can be used, because it is a big deal, right? Crypto blockchain technology is a big deal, and it can be used in ways that are far more advanced than just Bitcoin, right? You got to have an open mind. You really like, if somebody tells me that all altcoins are bad, everything but Bitcoin's bad, I immediately know that you don't understand blockchain tech. I immediately know that you don't understand the potential of blockchain technology. Immediately. You say that, I already know. You have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. You have to really understand the implications of blockchain tech and what it can actually do. I just gave you a super basic explanation. Super basic. What I just said was like one of the most basic ways to use blockchain, actually. Other than just like me sending you coins and back and forth. I hope that made sense though, because that was like a pretty that's like a basic explanation, but it's a good one. It's a good example of why things other than Bitcoin are important, how they can be used, and also examples of how you can use Ethereum, how you can use Chainlink for real world practical uses, and how their use case can actually be utilized and actually have value, right? why there actually is value behind Ethereum and behind Chainlink. Like automated financial systems, DeFi, all that. Like, there's a lot of value there that the world has not yet discovered. It has not really like figured out how to utilize. Nine 911. I might have missed your explanation. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't really directing it towards you. I was just saying, like, if somebody tells me, "Hey, Bitcoin's the only thing that's important," I have to kind of say, like, do you not understand blockchain? Do you, like, where's your mind at? Come on. This is a very, so far, weak breakout. We are above that resistance, though. So far, weak. Looking at very low time frames here. But we have, you know, we have a move above previous resistance. And we're potentially looking to create some support here. Maybe. I hope we do. It would be very disappointing if we kind of just sold off. I guess it's possible. Wouldn't take much to get that to happen, but right now, I mean, overall, as I've been saying, there's not that much sell interest. Like, if you're just looking at the chart and you're looking at the volume, let's just go to, like, the daily, I guess. There's just a lot of accumulation. Like the 12-hour, I guess. There's just a lot of accumulation taking place here, right? Yes, the volume is coming down, but there's just a lot of buy interest now. There's a lot of bullish speculation taking place based on the halving. And there's not that many people that are in the mindset right now of like, oh, I should sell. Like that right now, that's not really, I don't think the market is really thinking like that because the halving's coming up. So we have a bullish event. Historically, it is a very bullish event. And we're just seeing higher prices. So it doesn't really make sense for people to sell, I guess, from their perspective, because we're not really seeing any sellers. We're just getting like this really slow breakout right now, a really slow move up. It's 10K this week. Probably not. Probably not. Well, Gabriel, I mean, yes, Ivan on Tech is a great channel to understand all that. So guys, I was just talking about some more technical stuff, actually explaining use cases for cryptos and how they can really be used and why they hold actual value and all these different things, kind of just like giving you guys some education on that. And Gabriel saying, hey, don't waste your time. I think it's important though. It's important to explain to people that it's like, because some people know, some people kind of know, some people don't know at all. So it's good for me to just remind everyone that crypto isn't just a vehicle for trading. There is going to be some major innovation in finance through cryptocurrencies. And it's more than just Bitcoin. We all know that Bitcoin's the most important. It runs the market. It has the most value. There's the most money invested in Bitcoin by far. It has the most trading pairs. It is the most stable, or it is the most reliable, most trusted cryptocurrency, most well adopted. All that stuff. We all know Bitcoin's going to be here. But there's a reason why there's all these coins. I mean, a lot of them are actual garbage, but there's a lot of innovation taking place in crypto. There's a lot of use case. MJ says, Kevin, can you do live more? Yeah, I used to do lives all the time. And for a while, I just tried a different approach where I was like, let me just do videos for like a half a year. And it worked really well. I had a lot of growth. And then recently my channel kind of hit like a little bit of a peak. And I was like, let me just switch it up. Let me just start doing lives now. I think that'll, just kind of just trading back and forth. Guys, yeah, definitely hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed, and hit that like button, guys. We're getting close to 400 likes. We're at 363. and we could probably hit 400 likes if everyone just puts in the effort to hit that like button. We got to beat the YouTube algo. So short-term 30-minute chart, we have this downward sloping resistance, and right now we're getting support off of previous resistance. Hopefully, nothing's confirmed yet, looking for a continuation. Mr. Potato Squad in the house. What's up, dude? Caprithio, what is up? He says, I remember when you used to go live for like hours and hours. Yeah, you were there for like all my live streams. You were always there, man. I gotta give you a mod position back. I don't know why all my mods disappeared. You're like there for all my streams. I don't even know if I'm saying your name right. I would just say Caprithio, but that was the name I remember always saying. Edward's always there. Caprithio's always there. Craig Neve is always there. There's a bunch of people that have always been there. Jay Nev says, should I buy with 25x? Well, I advise against leverage. I know that's weird in crypto. People are like, you don't use leverage? I'm like, no, like I don't want to be on leverage. I don't want to have to worry about getting liquidated or like, that's just not my style. It's not my style to have that type of trade setup where it's like I'm on leverage and I have like a tight stop and it's just like, for me personally, I don't like it. It's just like, so guys, when you have a trading style, you have to make sure that it fits with your lifestyle and your personality, right? You can't just do what everyone else is doing. You have to make sure that the way that you're trading the market and the way that you're operating within the market fits your personality and fits your lifestyle, so that, you know, certain personalities are not good for leverage trading. There are certain people should not be leverage trading. They should not. And it affects, guys, trading is huge. It's a huge mental game. So like you have to figure out what works best for you. For me, I don't like to trade leverage. What I like to do is I have accumulation strategies that I conduct in the market based on macro signals. Right? So I don't go into the market too fast. I'm not using leverage, but I'm steadily increasing my positions, building up very big positions over time, right? And for me, it's just way more comfortable that way. I have a lot more control that way. I'm actually in ownership of the assets, which I like. I like that feeling. So there's just a lot of things that I like about not trading leverage and doing accumulation strategies, looking for long-term macro signals and trading macro trends. I like that a lot. You know, some people are very good at leverage trading because they're very experienced and they make a lot of money. There is that exists, but it is rare. On Twitter, I made a post not too long ago about this. And some people need to hear this because there's a lot of people in crypto that trade on leverage that really shouldn't be trading on leverage. It's probably like up here somewhere. Where did it go? Oh yeah, right here. Instead of wasting your time leverage trading and getting wrecked, instead invest for the long term. Use your time to take part in the community and learn about the technology so you can spot good innovations in the space and become a better crypto investor, right? Crypto isn't just about short-term trading, buying, selling, leverage trading, having a tight stop loss and taking profits real quick once you have them and just boom, 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 and like, which a lot of people like get sucked into that environment where they're like, oh, I got to be like this trader that's like trading every move. And it's like, okay, but most people aren't cut out for it. Some people are very good at it. And I know people who are very good at it. and they're experts in their field. But most people are not cut out for that, at least not in the beginning. I'm just saying. I like the feeling of actually like owning the assets and increasing my positions for the long term. I enjoy that more than leveraging and getting those like quick gains and stuff. Now it can be addicting though. If you have like a really nice trade, you know, it gets addicting and all that stuff. So there's a lot of psychology behind it. But you just got to watch out. Just got to be careful because exchanges are like predators. They want you to trade leverage. Why does the exchange give you high leverage? Why are they so generous to let you borrow 100x? You got to think about that. It's because you're going to get liquidated. You're going to stop out quick. You're going to be like trading all the time, just boom, 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 and you're fees. Right? They're just making money like every second, just fees all the time. So they love it. They're like, yeah, take 100x, go crazy, liquidated, and you pay them out. It's just like the environment is nuts. It's crazy. People in crypto don't understand how crazy crypto actually is. That's the funny part. See, like I came from trading in the traditional markets, like trading penny stocks and stocks, and then got into crypto. But like a lot of people are just going to crypto and they don't like know how nuts it is. Guys, we're pretty close to 400 likes. Smash the like button, subscribe. We've been live for probably close to 3 hours now. How long has it been? Over 2 hours for sure. As Furban says, true that, I lost a total of 10,000. Yeah, guys, leverage trading is it's a dangerous game. It's dangerous because it becomes like gambling. It becomes like gambling. If you don't know what you're doing, it turns into gambling, right? See, one purpose for leverage that is good is like, let's say, this is one reason why, like if someone says, hey, I'm using leverage for this reason, I would say, okay, that makes sense. Which is like, let's say you have, I don't know, let's just go with $1,000. So you say you have $1,000 in your BitMEX account and you want to use leverage. Or actually, sorry, I shouldn't have said it like that. You have $1,000 in your BitMEX account. Why would you use leverage? Well, instead of just risking this all 1,000 at one moment, you can take $100 and put that on leverage. Just take 100 and then put it on 10x leverage. That way, you're not risking the 1,000, you're only risking 100. So your risk is lower. You're not risking all of your capital there. You're just risking $100 on 10x. So you're trading with the same amount of money, but you're not risking $1,000. Now, of course, you'd be like, the average newbie is going to be like, but if I was on $1,000 with 10x, I would have $10,000. Yeah, but you're going to get destroyed, right? So if you want to trade on leverage, you have $1,000 in BitMEX, take 100, go on 10x and trade with $1,000. You see what I mean? It's just a better way to decrease risk. This is one use case for leverage that I would say, okay, that makes sense. You're actually being strategic. You're decreasing risk by doing this. Good. Sure. So if you're using leverage to decrease risk by not risking all your capital, that's okay. I would say that makes sense. So we are sustaining above the previous resistance at 7,810. We're sustaining it for now. We'll see if we can get some more volume. Volume is still not convincing. I agree. It's not that convincing yet. We could just slowly move up to the top of the potential rising wedge resistance, which would be around above 7,900 before potential correction. Possible. GUI says I need to go to bed bad. Yeah, I mean, go to bed. I mean, like, I'm probably not going to stream that much longer, guys. I mean, we had a breakout. We have a breakout. It's just going slow. It's not like a quick. You know, we're not seeing all the shorts get wrecked just yet. We're not seeing squeeze just yet, or anything like that, or any FOMO just yet. But we're seeing a slow move above resistance. So. Yeah, guys, I hope everything I was saying just made sense there. Your quality of life. Okay, so if you're not an experienced trader, your quality of life will increase by not using leverage or using very low leverage, like 5x max, right? 5x max under any circumstance. That's what I would say. Your quality of life will dramatically increase if you know, a lot of people get wrecked in crypto because they're using so much leverage. Guys, if you just like owned the assets and you just bought more and you create good positions for the long term, you get used to that, where you're like, it's not as addicting, but it just feels good to like own the asset. I don't know, it's just like how I think. It just feels good to like own the asset and not be in and out of the market, and just like, I'm just a whole different breed of people in crypto. I guess not really, because there's a lot of hodlers, I guess, but I'm not necessarily a hodler, because I'm definitely going to sell once we have a macro bearish signal. But I'm playing the macro trend. Crypto Crackhead coming in with a €5 says, keep it up. I appreciate that with the emoji. Did they just add these emojis in? These like moving emojis where the guy's like lifting weights. I appreciate that, Dono, though. These emojis are new to me. I've never seen these. Well, yeah, so you can short, yeah, shorting, of course. But I'm just talking about the people who are, you know, shorting on leverage, of course. But I'm just talking about everyone. There's like so many people that only trade leverage. They're only looking to trade on leverage exchanges, and it just gets dangerous. But no, I don't really short that much. I actually didn't even short 2018. I was like super bearish on Bitcoin. I never shorted, but I was just looking to buy at lower prices. Like I made money on the bull run, took profits, was bearish for all of 2018. We got the breakdown. I started to buy again. And that's pretty much how my channel got popular. But I was not shorting. I shorted Ethereum a few times, but that was all short term. I'm just looking at chat right now. I think I'm probably going to end the stream soon. I mean, we're above resistance. We're technically in a breakout above previous resistance, but there's not that much volume here. I think in order to get some good volume, we would probably have to break above 7,900. If we did break that, then we would get a lot more volume. But also the rising wedge argument could be coming into play here. We'll see. I'm still very bullish on Bitcoin, and I do think that 8250 is actually quite possible in the near term, but we need to get that volume right now. Rob says, do you notice time zone trends? To be honest, I never really focused on trying to develop a way to like see how the time zones affect the price. I've never, I don't know. It's like sometimes it's relevant and sometimes it's not. Like I don't really think that because it's global. I think it's a little bit more steady than people think, actually. It's not like I don't think it's like, oh, Europe's waking up now, so this is going to happen. Because it's global, it's actually a little bit more steady because it's always being traded. Like, I don't know. There are moments when you can tell that like certain time zones are taking action and FOMOing or panic selling and whatever. I don't really have a great answer for that. But I'm straight up just reading chat, talking to chat. Every time I live stream, this happens. The first half of the live stream is me saying what I want to say, all the things I want to say, and then the second half is me just staring at chat, just like literally just having a conversation. And I just find myself doing this, just straight up reading chat. And then we're like, oh, should I be doing something else? I'm like, yeah, whatever. A lot of people have also been talking about like this resistance here, which I think is interesting. I mean, I guess you have some sort of downward sloping resistance you could be looking at, which is coming in closer to 9,800 or like 90 or like 9,000, depending on where you get up to it. But again, guys, I already explained this like 3 times, but the 21-week EMA, also the emotional feedback explanation was pretty good. The 21-week EMA, guys, is always that pivotal zone. It's always preceding big bullish or big bearish phases. And we're getting above it now, so that's good. We're getting above the 21-week EMA. That's almost like what I'm most focused on right now is just how we're going to interact with the 21-week EMA. King Caesar, I appreciate you tuning in. Have a good night. End of 2020, where will Bitcoin be, says Rev SD. Well, I don't know that for sure, but the one thing that you could use is the stock to flow. Stock to flow model could help you determine that. Which, let's put up a vertical line on the beginning of 2021, so end of 2020, where will Bitcoin be? Well, I mean, I'm extremely doubtful that we're going to be sitting at 80,000, but I would actually say probably closer to 15K. I would say just to be conservative, by the end of 2020 we'd be at 15,000. Just to be conservative, could be higher than that. I mean, you could just change the standard deviation and then this would be different, but I would just say, just to be conservative, 15,000, something like that. just like retesting previous highs. Again, that's like being conservative. So that means I'm bullish. I'm just not going to make some crazy prediction about like Bitcoin being above 30K or something. Like, I'm just going to say, just be conservative. We'll just say 15,000 end of the year. It's not that crazy. It's really not that crazy of a prediction for Bitcoin at least. Yeah, it does. Edward's saying it looks like it wants to push up. It does look that way. Looks like we are getting a little bit more of a push up. Guys, we're one like away from 400. Almost 400 likes. Definitely hit that like button. Who's going to be the 400th person to hit the like? Let's see if we can get above 22.2K subs. We're streaming for like almost 3 hours, I think. We're like 10 subs away almost. All right, Bitcoin pushing up a little bit. Again, like I said before, what I want to see right now is I want to see Bitcoin close this 4 hour at that high at 7,876. If we could get a 4 hour close at least at 7,876, flush with that previous high, which we still have 3 hours left, so it's totally possible, that would be good for the next 4 hour to continue up. That would show potential continuation incoming. So we'll see. Now we're at 420 likes. Just looking at chat. Well, we're getting a continued push up now. We'll see though. It's all short term. I mean, we are above the breakout zone. We're seeing higher prices. It's just that volume though. I want to see more volume. Austin, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, that someone's saying slight FOMO when we hit 8K, probably just psychologically. You'll probably see some people FOMOing at that point, but we'll see. Polar Bear says Kevin's optimism made me money. That's good. Again, guys, never trade based off of a YouTuber. Never do that. But if my content helped you make money, that's great. Guys, definitely try to educate yourselves enough to make your own decisions, for sure. So we actually just hit a new high, which is good. We're seeing a little bit more bullish sentiment, a little bit more bullish speculators, FOMOing possibly. So we'll see if we can get this to continue. It's been a slow grind out of that resistance. We'll see. Yogesh says, Bears, where are you? They're gone. They literally went to hibernate. It's the summer again. Bears are hibernating. Well, not really, but we're coming up on summer soon. I'm just joking. But, I mean, the volume, guys. There's just a lot of buying, not that much selling. I mean, we already had a huge dump. And the Bears got what they wanted, and the halving is coming out. We have bullish speculators coming to the market. not to say that there can't be a correction. Of course, Bitcoin can always dump and see some sort of higher low or larger scale bottom formation or whatever, but just looking at chat. Yeah, we'll see, guys. We just gotta hold 7,810. If we fall below that, if we get rejected here, and we fall below. Again, guys, I'm like very focused on the long term, so I don't really care all too much, to be quite honest. Really don't care about what's happening right now all that much. I mean, it's nice that we're seeing higher prices, which I was excited about. But if we do see a rejection here, then it's possible that we might be validating this rising wedge idea, possibly. But we'll see. Even though Bitcoin has been going up recently, it's been so annoying because it's just been so slow. No, guys, don't. When you guys, here's another problem I see with a lot of people in crypto, is they see a red candle appear and they think, oh, it's the end. Oh, there it is, right? Guys, the candle represents just the action that's taking place right there in that moment. Like, again, if I just shifted to the 4 hour, it would just be like this, right? And that 1 hour that 1 hour red candle that you just saw, where it was like a little bit of a dump, if you were on the 4 hour, you wouldn't have even saw that, right? So you got to remember that, like, the way that the candle appears is not that important in like, especially the lower time frames. Like, higher time frames, yes, but I'm saying, like, those lower time frames, you can't really, like, be like, oh, hourly's red now, and, like, unless you're trading the hourly or unless you're trading the lower time frames. But don't let yourself be fooled by lower time frames and, like, that action. Good night, Caesar. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, we've been streaming for like 3 hours now. I might just end the stream soon. We've been going for a while. Edit name says Kevin never notices me. I do notice you. Sometimes I miss some messages. I don't know. Did you say something? Oh, edit name is asking if people need masks. Well, you could be a scammer. I don't know. Don't sell stuff in the chat. I don't know who you are. Like, I think I've seen you before watching my videos, but I don't want people, like, selling stuff in chat. It's not good. You got to make a website, buy some Facebook ads, you know, that kind of thing. Naive little dude says, my cousin told me to put money into Bitcoin now, and so this better go up. So guys, we're almost at 450 likes. Let's see if we can get there. Also, guys, subscribe to the channel. We're like a few subs away from 22.2K. We're probably going to end the stream soon. Guys, definitely check out all those links in the description. Follow me on Twitter. I'm making tweets all the time nowadays. Guys, I don't know. Some of you guys aren't on crypto Twitter. The crypto Twitter community is huge. It's huge. There's a lot of activity. So if you don't have a Twitter, create a Twitter and join us on crypto Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. It's a really fun community. There's a lot of just people posting stuff all the time. It's a great way to see like new innovations, new news, and people do like trade ideas and like all that stuff. So definitely, I'll just post in the chat. So definitely follow me on Twitter. Join that Discord too. Discord's always fun. Always talk. I'm in Discord all the time. If you don't have a Discord, create a Discord. Join the channel. It's a great chat. It's like, I don't have a Telegram, but I have Discord, right? So if you want to talk to me on a daily basis, just join the Discord. I'm always in there. And guys, the platform you see me use is the CryptoWatch platform. So definitely sign up for that. And also, if you want to support the channel, get extra content, and see my altcoin portfolio that I created in Patreon, you can join the Patreon. But I think I'm going to end the stream soon. Things are just pretty slow. Bitcoin's above resistance. We have a breakout, but there's not that much volume. But anything's possible. I'm looking at the 1 hour right now. I should zoom out to like the 4 hour. 4 hour still looks pretty good. We're still above resistance. Again, I want to see this 4 hour candle close around 7,875. We still have 2 hours and 50 minutes on it. And if we can get a close up there, then we could get some continuation. But we'll have to see. Definitely need more volume. But we do have a breakout. It's just not very powerful. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you all tuning in. Appreciate all the people smashing that like button, subscribing, following me on Twitter, joining the Discord. And I think that's going to be it for the stream. And I will see you guys in the next video or the next live stream. I'm not totally sure what it's going to be. Probably a video. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great night. Have a great morning wherever you are.